Think about any company you've ever worked for. It runs on an invisible operating system, a set of management practices that dictates, well, everything, how it performs, how it feels. Get that OS right and you thrive. Get it wrong, and even the most brilliant strategies just fizzle out. So today, we're going to decode that OS.
All right, get this. Here's a number that should make any leader just stop in their tracks. Harvard Business Review found that a staggering 2/3 of well-crafted strategies, they just fail. All that brain power, all that planning and energy and money, gone. So what on earth is going on here? And here's the kicker. It's almost never the strategy itself that's the problem. The failure happens in the execution. It's because the company's organizational operating system, its core wiring, is just too clunky or outdated to turn a great idea into a market-shattering reality.
Okay, so how do we build a better OS? Well, it all starts with pillar 1, setting the direction. You have to know where you're going.
And the engine that drives this pillar? That's strategy management. This is really the art of laying out a killer vision and, this is the important part, actually translating it into concrete, executable plans that bridge the gap between where you are now and where you desperately want to be.
You know, this quote from Sun Tzu just nails it, doesn't it? Having this huge, grand vision with no actual steps, that's just daydreaming. But on the flip side, having a ton of activity with no guiding vision, that's just busy work. A lot of noise right before everything falls apart.
I mean, if you want to see a masterclass in this, just look at Netflix. This was not luck. They made that high-stakes pivot to streaming when their DVD business was still an absolute cash cow. Then they bet the farm again on original content, and then again on going global. Each move was a deliberate strategic choice, not just a reaction.
And the results of all that discipline, of making those tough calls? A complete transformation from a company mailing DVDs into a global entertainment behemoth worth a mind-boggling $250 billion. That, right there, is the power of a perfectly executed strategy.
Okay, but let's be real. A great strategy is just a piece of paper without the right people to make it real. And that brings us right to the human element of this whole OS, Pillar 2, empowering the people. Right at the core of this pillar is change management. You know, this is where you deal with the messiest, most emotional, and honestly, most unpredictable part of any big shift, the people. It's how you guide them, how you get them on board. Peter Senge just hit the nail on the head here. We don't actually hate progress, right? What we hate is when change is just forced on us. The absolute best change management makes people feel like they're a part of the journey, not just a victim of it.
And believe me, the stakes are incredibly high. Get this. Research from ProShi shows that when you do change management really well, your projects are 6 times more likely to succeed. 6 times! I mean, that's not just an edge, that's a game changer. Think about Adobe back in 2011. They made this absolutely terrifying pivot from selling software in a box to a subscription model. I mean, they basically blew up their whole business model. But because they were so careful about managing that change for their customers and their own employees, the results were just phenomenal. Explosive growth everywhere you look. All right, so you've got a killer strategy, your people are fired up and ready to go, great. But none of that matters if you can't protect it. And that is Pillar 3, managing complexity in what is, let's face it, an increasingly dangerous world. And today, the absolute non-negotiable part of this is information security management. This isn't just some IT problem anymore. It's a core strategic function for the entire business. It's the digital fortress you build to protect your most valuable asset, your data. If you want a truly chilling example of what happens when this fails, well, let's talk about the Equifax data breach. It all started with a single, unpatched vulnerability. For 76 days, more than 2 months, hackers were just roaming around inside their systems, completely undetected, just siphoning out data. The scale of this failure was just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. The personal, sensitive data of 147 million consumers. That's nearly half the entire US population, just exposed. The financial hit, it was immediate, and it was brutal. Equifax had to cough up at least $700 million in settlements. And that was just the beginning. And the market? Oh, the market's reaction was just devastating. The company lost almost 1/3 of its stock value. Boom, practically overnight. It was a blow to its reputation that it is still recovering from today.
Okay, so this is where it all clicks into place. You see, these pillars, strategy, people, and complexity, they aren't separate things. They can't be. They have to work together as a single, fully integrated system. When they do, they create this incredible momentum.
When they work together, they create this incredible virtuous cycle. Think about it, it just flows, right? A clear strategy sets the direction. Your empowered people go out and execute it. Robust systems protect the whole operation. And then the data and insights from all of that feeds right back into making the next strategy even smarter. It's a self-improving loop.
So, what's the big takeaway here for the future? Because let's be clear, the old playbook just isn't going to cut it anymore. The entire operating system of management is getting a mandatory upgrade as we speak.
The old operating system, the one a lot of companies are still running, was built on things like rigid hierarchies, a super narrow focus on profit, and teams that never talk to each other. But the OS for 2025 and beyond, it's a whole new world. It's built on flexible networks, on creating value for everyone, your customers, your employees, your partners, and on systems that are fundamentally human-centric.
And all of this really boils down to one final, really critical question for you. The future is already here. It's not waiting for an invitation. So you have to take a hard, honest look at your own organization. Is its operating system getting that critical upgrade, or is it still running on software from a decade ago?